Wall Street. Do it right, build wealth, live life, economic empowerment, real tips, insight on the new Black Wall Street. It's on the new Black Wall Street. Here's your host. The new Black.
All right, good morning to you beautiful people. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the New Black Wall Street, the Money and Power Show. I'm your host, ERGJ, your certified financial educator, CEO of ERGJ Enterprises, ERGJ Black Bazaar, and international best-selling author of the book, The Black Billionaires Club. The book I wrote, guys, is a study of Black wealth. It's a study of the 12 richest Black people in the world today and how they built their wealth. We're working on book number 2, but I truly believe that if you want to be wealthy, you should study wealthy people. Hey, what's up, Tanisha? How you doing, man? Thanks so much for joining. While you guys are connecting, let us know where you're connected from, what city, what state, what country, quite possibly. This is Money Power Show where we talk about money and power. I think today we'll have a little bit of a different show as I've been just really doing some thinking about the economy and would love to share some things with you guys as I've had interactions with people over the past few weeks. And it's been interesting to have these discussions about where we are in our mental state as we, I guess, get back to new norms or create new norms for ourselves and where that kind of puts us. This is Better Life Tuesday, so we should have a guest. We'll see if he'll be joining us here today. Still waiting for him to hit the green room. On Tuesdays, we have Dr. Weathersby with us. So hopefully he'll be able to join us here shortly. We'd love to know where you're connected from, though, man. Tisha is in the house. Miss Viv is in the house. What's going on? Shero's in the house. I'm going to get that out to you as soon as the show is over. I know that I did not get that to you yesterday, so I apologize for that. But I would, what's interesting, and I think this period of time for me is always kind of the same around this time, September, October. I think I kind of go into like a reflection mode. And what I mean by that is that, you go hard. Well, I go hard. I'm not sure about you guys. Like the whole year, of doing shows, creating content, educating, informing, all that stuff. And then I run into this period where it's like, man, look what I've done. What am I looking towards for the future? And I was thinking about this time that we have, and as I think about like this pandemic, coronavirus, China virus, whatever, I was saying to myself, like, I don't think I've experienced in my life, although I've been through a lot of different, 9/11, Katrina, all these different type of serious events that I won't say I've experienced, but I've seen or have happened during my lifetime. This is the first one that's really probably personally affected me, because Katrina wasn't something where I live in that area. 9/11, it kind of affected, the whole world as far as those towers coming down, but I don't think it really affected me much. But when I think about this pandemic, it's affected so many people. I was speaking to a sister the other day, and she was telling me how just being in the house for such a long time and being quarantined and being away from people and all that stuff, she didn't realize how much it affected her because she's such a people person. And it really got me to thinking about how important, I guess you could say, physical contact is. Like, I guess, you don't really, you don't miss something until it's gone, kind of, sort of. And so when I was thinking about what she was saying, I was like, yeah, I was like, wow, it's amazing how, I guess you can say, like, being in the house, being to yourself, or being just with your immediate family, or feeling cooped up, could bring about a whole different type of mental state. I was looking at some articles this morning as they were talking about work from home and how there's a burnout from working from home. Now there's some people who have been looking forward to working from home. They can't wait to work from home. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, I want to get out of the office. I don't want to be, you know, in the office anymore. I'd rather work from home. And then now we're starting to hear stories about burnout from working from home. And it's really, I guess you could say there's some lessons that's being learned on my end, how important people are. Because it seems like in a lot of industries, as we talk about the economy, there is a move to replace people. You know, if you think about the grocery store for a second, and you know, we went from, you know, if you think about Walmart, for example, or Kroger or whatever, all these different aisles to check out people turned into, we still have these aisles, we don't use them anymore, to self-checkout. And now we got into a place where we have, you know, curbside pickup, or, you know, delivery with Uber Eats and DoorDash and Grubhub and all this stuff. And so it's really got me thinking about, you know, evolution. And I think that's important to kind of consider and think about where we are currently, where we're going, and what's going to be viable in the future. Because I truly don't, for many industries, they'll never be the same. They're never going back to how they have done business in the past, right? You know, there's some who won't go back to an office. You know, the virtual is the way that they go now. And there's pros and cons to all of this, right? With every shift, and this is a seismic shift, I think. I think this is a seismic shift in the way in which we operate as in a society. Like, and I can't go back, you know, I probably had to go back in history and just look at, you know, what has caused the different shifts that have happened in life. But and probably this is more recency bias, but this is one of the biggest seismic shifts as I continue to think about the evolution of how we do things that I can even remember in my life. Like, we literally are, you know, moving on up to a whole virtual type of thing. Like, I'm looking at, and it's good. It's good to change. It's good to evolve. It's good to do things differently. But I think it's also, in the sense of moving or changing, I think it's also good to really take a look at the impact of those changes. You know, for every action, there's a reaction, something like that. And so, what you guys talking about? What's going on, Keyshawn? How you doing? What's up, Sydney? How you doing, brother? Amanda said work from home could be good, so it can't be more. So how do we? So that makes me think about, like, how, let's just say, you know, as we move into this space of, you know, even if it's not just working from home, but a lot of things are done virtually. You know, I think we still have to be conscious of replacing or making sure we implement some type of human contact into our life. Like, if working, for example, is one of the biggest portions of our day or our week, right? Most people work 40 hours a week, if not more. And if they're going from working with people and around people and being able to joke and laugh and do all the stuff that you do as you're around other people, to now, you know, taking care of your stuff remotely, and then you're losing that human element that you would have 60, 70 hours out of the week. Like, and you can't really replace that on a weekend or nothing like that. You can get a little bit of it. But then some people go from that to, okay, well, I'm gonna just watch football on TV on the weekends. And so even like events, you know, are, you know, that we're accustomed to, football, baseball is happening right now. Nobody even talking about baseball. That's happening right now. Those are limited to you know, capacity of how people can attend. So, you know, and I think this today's title or today's topic is all about evolution and considering how we evolve. And I guess I want to press upon you to think about, you know, what are you doing to balance out what you could be missing, or you could could be missing out of your life because of said circumstances, right? And it's not something that I would even thought about had I not had the conversation with a friend of mine that was talking like this, and I was like, you know what? I never thought about it. I never thought about that. I never, because life kind of keeps going on, right? That's one thing that I've learned in life is that life keeps going on. Whether we want it to or not, sometimes we wanted to stop, we wanted to slow down. Life keeps going on, and so I must keep going on with life, which is easier said than done sometimes, right? It's much easier said than done. But if a part of life that we're accustomed to is changing and causing us to miss some things that we would normally have, what are we doing to kind of offset that, to make sure we still get that as a part of our, I guess you could say, our part of our diet, right? Part of our diet has been what we intake. And some of what we intake is, and even if we read stuff like love languages and stuff like that, human contact is kind of important. How many guys feel like, like human contact is important, especially with your loved ones or people that you care about? Like human contact is important, is important even as we think about health and mental stability and ways that people show that they care. And I think that's kind of why I like doing business the way that I do business, because I'm actually able to meet people, which you can kind of take for granted when it's happening all the time, but you begin to appreciate a little bit more when it's not happening as much. And I know that we have different ways to communicate, but I'm literally talking about a space where people are kind of scared of people. I think that's a very dangerous space that we're kind of in, where people are kind of getting scared of people. Like if you just, like a regular cough turns into, being concerned about whether you want to even be around a person. And it's I think we're doing the best that we can with the tools that we have. I've seen a lot of Zoom, interaction. People are still kind of, getting their content out there, and content is kind of hard as well. But I'm concerned about the impact that it's having on many of us who may not even be savvy with technology to still have those interactions, to still have those social meetings and social gatherings that you might used to have to go to. How many guys have been in clubs or, I don't know, sororities or church or something like that, where that has really declined as far as how much you do those things. Has that been offset? Has that still been happening? Very important, I believe. What you say, Miss Phyllis? Man, we think we do more at home than when you're. I think we do more at home than when you are at work. Are you saying that you get more done? Quite possibly. But you probably get more done that don't have anything to do with work when you're at home as well, which is pretty cool. You say we are not okay. Well, I hope, I think it's great to have a conversation because, to be conscious of something. Sometimes we go through things that we're not even aware that we're going through, or we're dealing with things that we can't really put words around because it's not something that we've dealt with on a regular basis. And so even to have a conversation can help to, stimulate some things and say, man, what am I missing something in my life? Am I missing anything in my life? That I may use that. When I talked to Brother Weathersby, who's normally on the show, he talked about how he's a hugger. He's a guy that just, and I'm not a big hugger, but I just like to be around people, but not necessarily be all up on them. But he said he's a hugger, so he misses the element where he could just, get with someone, just love on them, hug on them, and all this and all that. So it just got me to thinking, and as I'm reading through, where business is changing, and a lot of businesses are saying, they won't return to the office quite possibly until January. You have school systems where they have, I guess some schools gave people an option of what they wanted to do. But if you choose to virtually, let your child do their schooling, then that means that someone, has to be there to watch the children. And this has an impact as well. As I was reading the article this morning, they were talking about how, work from home or most of the time, let's just say you have a kid that'll work from home. Most of the time, it's probably the woman or the mother who will, tend to the children, right? So that can have impact on that mother deciding whether, I still want to be at this particular job, corporate job that I might have, versus making the decision that, my children and me being with my children at this time is more important. It seems like there's some hard decisions that are being made or have to be made in order to facilitate life and family and work and all that stuff during this time. This is, like I say, this is just a very different space than I think I've experienced in my entire life. Like, most things kind of come and go. They happen, we rebuild, and we'll rebuild and we'll rebound and all that stuff. But I really believe that this time, as we move into 2021, this next decade, and I think every decade is different from the last, will be tremendously different. And it also makes me think about how to prepare the next generation for what's to come. What industries will be more relevant, what industries will die, or become extinct or be no longer, relevant. Just yesterday, they had an article about the theaters and how I think Regal, Cinemark, they're going to be closing all of their movie theaters. And I haven't even thought about going to the movies. Anybody been to a movie lately or thought about going to a movie? That tells me, I think that drive-ins may become more prevalent again. And there's kind of be a recycling of that. But that's over about 50,000 jobs that'll be lost with them, closing their store. I don't know if they're going to temporarily or permanently close, but those jobs that might be lost due to them not opening their doors means that those people are going to have to find work elsewhere. And it kind of makes me think about, okay, well, where are those opportunities, right? So where are those opportunities? Where are the new opportunities that are available where the old opportunities have passed away, have died down? And so if you are an individual that has an impact with kids, that deals with children, that teaches children, that counsels, coaches children, these are some things that I really, want to kind of consider. Like, where are the new opportunities that's going to be created for our next generation to thrive in? Because they won't necessarily be the same opportunities that were attributed to us when we were coming into the workforce. There's one particular area also I've been really thinking about the drone technology kind of space, and how it seems like there are going to be more and more companies that are going to be using that technology for whatever purposes. I think those are a great opportunity for people, and you get to fly planes. I think that'd be pretty cool. But robotics, automation, all this stuff is beginning to take over our world. And the one thing that I know about, like, robotics, for example, is that although it may replace someone's physical job, those robotics still break down. So there still need to be someone that, to fix the robotics or robots when they not acting right? So for every action, there's a reaction. So although that might change as far as someone physically flipping a burger or someone physically, ringing you out or whatever, the maintenance of those robots will pick up, right? So that's where the new opportunities will be, where the old opportunities. So it kind of tells me that there's going to be some new skills that'll need to be developed in order to kind of thrive in the new world. And I guess that's kind of what's happening right before our eyes, that there's a new world that is developing. There's a new world that is developing. What's going on, Mr. Mark Daniels? What's going on? Say we're not okay. This change in technology bothers me a bit more. Why so much, Miss Vivian? See, Rose, I mean, like, we like the option to decline attend events and gather. Oh, okay, I got you. Be huge going forward. I mean, yeah. So any type of online education, and it seems like that's kind of where it's been going, right? I mean, it's kind of been going to that space of everything online, guys. And so as I've been thinking about my own, content that I create, and I've been in this space for over 5 years. I've been creating content online. I kind of seen it coming, I guess. And I just decided, okay, this is a space to be. But as I do what I do, I'm still thinking about, okay, well, what are the new opportunities here? So and I've been thinking about the content that I put out and stuff like that. So one thing that I've really been working on, and that's a question for you guys, like, as you think about what you do in whatever space, where do you think the new opportunities will be for what you do? And as you kind of pinpoint or you conceptualize what that is, then ask yourself, okay, how can I put myself in position to take advantage of the new opportunities that will be presented in my industry? Like, in every industry, travel, retail, I don't care, food, it don't matter. Every industry has been impacted, and will be impacted. Every industry has evolved and will evolve. Every industry is changing and will change. So as you think about the industry that you represent, or whatever it is that you do, where do you see it going? Where do you see the changes happening in your field? And then, okay, well, if you decide to stay in that field, what do you need to do to prepare and be ready, for those new opportunities? Because here's what happens. What happens is, as these things happen, and you and I may see them happen, and you and I may foresee them happening, if we don't prepare for them and be ready for them, then those new opportunities basically pass us by to those that will be prepared, or those that do prepare. So it kind of makes sense to say, okay, well, I see what's coming down the pike. Although I'm not 100%, I'm not 100% on how it will take place, I see it happening. And I want to put myself in the best position to move along with this change that's going to happen anyway. And I think that space is kind of difficult for some people. It's difficult for some people to embrace the newness or the changes or the evolution that's going to happen anyway, right? And so, and I think as we get older, we're used to how things used to be, and how things used to be won't always be the same as they used to be. And that's difficult for some people to accept, that how we used to do things isn't how we do things anymore. I think, we accepted it more when we were younger because we were kind of creating the newness. But as we get older, we want things to kind of remain how they've been because that's what we've been accustomed to. And so I hope to be able to help people to prepare and be ready for kind of the newness. And so, what I've been doing with some of my clients and dealing from a coaching standpoint, which I don't really do a whole lot. Even coaching has changed. Like, a lot of coaching that we used to do in person, obviously, is virtual. A lot of things are just virtual. But even in marketing, for example, marketing has kind of, has gone from, and all of this marketing stuff, we're going to be talking about marketing tonight, especially with the BBC. But the way in which we do marketing is changing as we speak. Like, there's new dynamics. There's more acceptable, I guess you could say, visuals. Yeah, we're moving more and more video is needed, more so than just static images or more dynamic images. I was talking to a brother yesterday. I asked him, man, do you have where's your commercial? I haven't seen you cut a commercial. Like, where's your moving stuff around and showing people stuff? Where is that at? Because that's really what captures people's eye right now. Things that are moving. TV is changing. I watch. I tried to watch a movie the other night. Sitting in a nice place, TV on. It just didn't work for me. Like, I'd rather kind of scroll through Facebook or YouTube than actually get on and watch like real television. Like, I don't do that. Like, even that's changing for me. What's going on, Mark Dane said, man? Mark Dane said, man, the virtual cooking space has become a big concept. Noted chefs all over the internet. Virtual cooking space. What does that look like? Virtual cooking space. Wow. How's that? So, Brother Mark, how does that affect, or how do you think that's going to affect what you do with the Cheesecake Company? Like, are there some new things that you guys are having to embrace in the way in which you do business? That a year ago it was just maybe a concept, but now you guys are kind of doing it. You've implemented it. What's some new things that you've kind of implemented in how you guys continue to sustain and maintain through this time as we kind of get back to new normal? The cool thing about what you do is that people still gonna eat. We know that. We still gonna eat. We even said, man, could we create a balance of advancing with times to still have human contact? I think that's something that we have to create. I mean, I think that's something that on an individual basis we have to create, and that's the that part there, Vivian, I believe is where the danger comes in, right? Because we can get used to. I mean, I don't know. Like, so part of it is fulfilled with the virtual kind of connection, the calls and the talks, but still the human piece, the human contact piece is very, very important. It's hard to accept, and I feel like a child because this change is more devastating than any change. So you're kind of feeling it too, Miss Vivian. You're saying, man, wait a second, this right here, of all the, and I don't know how old you are, but of all the things that you've experienced as well in your life, all the different seismic shifts and things that are calamities that happen in the world and wars and all the stuff that you've experienced in your life. Again, this time right here for me has been probably the most impactful, just personally. Like, it's one thing to have been through something, but it didn't really happen to you personally. It kind of happened in the world somewhere, about it. It's another thing for it to kind of personally affect you to where you kind of have to make some adjustments, some changes, some shifts and things like that. So, so that's all good and dandy. So, so those are some things that's kind of been, on my mind. As we get toward, we're in October now. We got 2 months left in this year. We'll come back and I'll ask you a question about something that you really, as you look back on 2020, man. I want you to consider this question as we take a little break. What have you really learned? What's been a big lesson for you in 2020? And obviously we're not done with 2020, but we're going to have to start preparing for 2021. But this has been a hell of a year for many of us. But I believe in every blessing there's a lesson, or every lesson there's a blessing, one of the two. Anyway, we'll be right back.
Oh, yeah.
All right, man. Make sure you check out ERGJ Black Bazaar, the Afrocentric Marketplace. Check them out at www.theblackbazaar.com, www.theblackbazaar.com. Place for your Afrocentric home decor, personal care products, and also Black art inspired gifts. We do also have some of your PPE products as we kind of continue to get through this coronavirus together. It is Better Life Tuesday, guys, and we do have our guest. He's joined us here today for the second half. I'm glad he coming to. You know, you say the best for last. That's what they say. You say the best for last. And previously, before our break, we were talking about some of the seismic shifts, the seismic shift, and how it's caused a lot of our pieces of our life to evolve, whether we were ready for it or not. And I asked a question for you to think about as we get to the end of this year, moving into 2021, which is what have you learned this year? What's one of the biggest lessons that you learned this year? Because I believe as we continue to, we either win or we learn. And as we continue to learn and get better and grow and develop, it just helps us as we move forward in each and every year. Let me bring in Brother Weathersby from the Better Life Institute here on Better Life Tuesday. Kind of get us here, man. Brother Weathersby is in the house, man. What's going on with you, man?
Good morning, brother. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing all right, man. Thanks so much for joining us here today, man. I know that we kind of do this thing here on Tuesdays, man. I hope everything's been going well for you.
Man, things have been well. I have been on this crazy celebration of my birthday, because this is actually the first year that it's worked the way I planned it.
All the events and things like that for that you kind of put together to celebrate your life.
Yeah. So, like, for example, my birthday weekend, I was with my family. Man, I was great to celebrate 40 years with them, and I was sitting here tripping, like, man, you talking about either you gonna win or you gonna learn. And it took me being here in Atlanta 22 years to really this is a family thing. So, man, I had a ball with my family for 40. And then I've been doing little things every weekend that I just, man, literally, when I tell people 2020 has been the best year of my life, they look at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, but it's because the stuff that I've been working has finally fallen in place, man.
Well, that's awesome, man. And for many, you know what? And I think that many of us may overlook the things that are working. You know what I mean? Because it seems like, as a human being, or maybe just in this society, it seems like it's easier to focus on what's not working than what is working. It's easier to focus on what you don't like than what you do like. It's easier to kind of make that the things that are not going well much bigger than the things that are going well. And so that's kind of a shift in mindset. I believe that if we can't, because I guess maybe if we let that permeate, then that leads to a lot of the mental stuff that we deal with when there's so many great things that are actually happening in our life.
Man, you talk about the focus on what doesn't work. So when we hit social media, I mean, we literally have to be intentional about sharing positive news. We have to be intentional about starting a positivity chain, so to speak. But the minute something goes wrong, everybody, and it's almost as if nobody knows anything good. My pastor likes Romans 8:28, and it says all things work together, but they got to work separately before they can work together, And it's just like, wow, so many things are going right. Or at least okay. Everything's not on fire.
Absolutely. And so, man, I want to kind of bring you up to speed where we at in our conversation this morning. It's more of a philosophical discussion, I guess you could say. But I was discussing how, and I think you heard it on the break, discussing how things are, life keeps moving and evolving, and I believe this is one of the biggest seismic shifts that's happened in my lifetime here on this earth, where how things were done won't be done the way that they were anymore. And some things will, but many things will change, and they will change permanently.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was saying that I was asking the audience to think about their industry, what they're doing, how they operate, whatever, and the changes that are taking place in that industry that they know are taking place, right? Because many times we are part of the change, or we participate in the change, but we don't necessarily prepare for what we know is coming down the pipe. So then I said, you know, and then the second part of the question was, okay, well, if you know that something's coming down the pipe, you know it's happening, but you may not necessarily know when. You know, what are you doing to prepare for what you know is going to happen anyway, right? You know, whether it be, okay, well, I need to learn a new skill or pick up a new class or something like that, to make sure that I'm in position to profit or in position to maximize these new opportunities that are coming out of the pipe where old opportunities have died. So, for example, I was saying, let's just say, you know, we get into automation. I was saying that, hey, you know, they may replace the cashier, but it's going to create a new robot tech. You know what I mean? It's going to create new robots because you're going to have to maintain what is not created that's taken over for what is no longer going to be useful in society. So it made me think about not only what we're doing for us as individuals, but where are we steering the next generation for these new opportunities that we see coming down the pipe?
But we still in school talking about go to school, get a good job. No, you need to be able to create your own, to the point where it's literally, I mean, I don't know somebody who doesn't do something on the side now, for the most part. I don't know somebody, as you said, who sees the change coming. I don't know that many people anymore, thank the Lord, who see the change coming and still go, it's not getting warmer. It's not getting warmer. No, it's not getting warmer. And next thing you know, that's the story of the frog that dies because the temperature was so gradually turned up. He was warmer, but didn't realize he was a degree from boiling, and it was too late. And unfortunately, a lot of folks are either going to adjust or they're not going to make it. And that's just where the world is going. It's the survival of the fittest, unfortunately. And I think sometimes we have done a disservice to our youth who are coming because we're not pushing them as we should. And I think that's because Black folks are usually 10 to 20 years behind a change anyway. So, but that's another conversation.
Well, yeah, but it's like having foresight. It's like having a foresight to kind of have a mind of what's coming out of the pipe. And so as we get into the second half, man, I left them with a question. Some people answered already. You know, as you think about this year, 2020, and we're obviously in the last 2 months of 2020, we're moving it, starting to prepare for 2021. We're starting to get the calendars and the journals, and 2021 is going to be a better year than 2020 and all this stuff. What, as you may reflect on this year, man, what's a major lesson for you this year, man?
So previously I would say I didn't really know. Some things I didn't really take the way I should have. I wasn't as good as I thought I was. That's what I said originally. But since my birthday, literally in 34 days, it's been like, wow. And so now I have this big right now on me. Yes, I can make plans. Yes, I can have a 5-year goal, a 10-year goal. I can do all of that. But if I tell my coaching clients, you got to deal with today, I found myself being so busy planning that I wasn't dealing with the today. It's taking 30 seconds to notice the sunset. It's taking 10 minutes to eat dinner and enjoy the fact that it's a beautiful weather night. It's been able to talk with my mom, talk with my grandma, talk to my brother, talk to my dad in just a moment, because I can't assume I've got 20 more years. Somebody said that procrastination.
Go back. Say you can't say that again.
You can't assume you've got 10 to 20 more years. You can't assume that. Somebody put a post up that said procrastination is the arrogant attempt the arrogant assumption rather that God will give you tomorrow to do what he gave you the energy and the grace for today.
Oh, that sounds like you're preaching now. You preaching now.
Man, when I tell y'all that 40 has been, 30 was bad for me because I was like, oh my God, my life is almost halfway over. But 40's been like, you've learned a lot. Now enjoy it, use it, build with it. You know,
that look like that's Brother Ray, man. Is that Brother Ray, man? I'm gonna have to reach out to you today, brother. I think that's who that is. I know. I hope all is well. Matter of fact, let me say that to everybody. I hope all has been well with you, your family. I know that you know, many of us, as we go through life, we shrink back or we got to take positions and do different stuff. So sometimes you step aside, but you're not going. So love to hear that, man. Let me. But you preaching now. So, and he just mentioned something, right? He said 2020 has been a year for those who were in the right position and business was set up properly. How many guys feel like that you were actually prepared for? And obviously, you can't. You know, you're not fully prepared for what's unexpected. But how many guys feel like you were in a good position as 2020 has come upon you? Right, and when brother Weatherby says it's been the best year of his life, and I can say for me, as far as business concerned, it's been like I feel like I was ready for this. Like I feel like I was in front of it, you know, to be able to capitalize off of it and be in position to do something with it versus being behind it. I mean, you guys feel like you've been in front of this thing versus necessarily behind or just reacting. Like, I don't feel like I've been reacting at all. I mean, in some areas or maybe some spaces, yes. But for the most part, I feel like I've been very proactive and ready for it as I've had to shift and move and things like that. Not just kind of, run around like a chicken with my head cut off, right? Being prepared for it. Being prepared, not necessarily being prepared for it, but being prepared, period. Here's another thing that someone said. Vivian said that the biggest lesson for her was that you must adjust. Everybody put in comments below, adjust. You must adjust. There's no way. She said there's no more till now. There's no way around it. That you must adjust, whether you want to or not. Adjusting is going to have to happen as evolution kind of comes about in our world. You must adjust. Man, okay. That is Brother Ray. I'm going to bring Brother Ray on because I find out what's been going on with him. And here's how I've been adjusted, right? Because some of the things I've been thinking about is like the content that we create. And I love that we have Better Life Tuesday, by the way, brother, because it allows for us to kind of shift some things around, right? You know, for all year or for most of the year, it's been like me with creating content, thinking about content, and putting out financial information like boom, boom, boom. But I want the show to kind of evolve, right? And have more to it, and involve more people. So now I can dissect like days and say, okay, well, we'll do Better Life Tuesday, man. We kind of know what we're gonna do here, and we'll talk about, man, whatever it is has to do with better life. And then I can do like a Wall Street Wednesday, and I can do a Money Monday. So I don't feel like I'm just regurgitating the same stuff over and over again. It brings like a freshness and a newness to the content that we create. So I'm again, I appreciate even us kind of merging together and doing this piece, which kind of gives a reprieve to what I may do on a regular basis, kind of all by myself. You know what I mean? So I kind of appreciate that. Go ahead.
Absolutely. And here's the crazy part. That's how you know for a fact that there is growth. Ooh, Jesus, not today. That's how you know that there is real growth. One of the things that really irks me is that we think that creating a business is the same as owning a business. I'm not getting in trouble this morning. Just because you create the entity on paper does not mean that you have created the actual business itself. And most people don't understand that what you created, it must grow, it must evolve, it must progress. That's why I'm laughing when he said it's been the best year for those in the right position. It's one thing to be outside and the weather start changing. It's another thing to see the change and never get ready. And even if I think it's going to rain but it just get colder. Man, at least I was kind of ready for something. Like you said, you can't predict everything. You can't lay out everything, but were you ready for something? And 2020 has shown me that, yeah, I was partially ready, but we can always be better ready. We can always be more ready, more prepared. So that's why I'm excited. And to hear Queen Vivian, she is killing me. She's like, I'm not really doing. Girl, you are growing in leaps and bounds because of the name of the game, like she said, is to adjust. That's why the dinosaurs aren't here. They could not adjust. And that's what I'm really scared for the masses, because they are not learning to adjust. They are consumers and produce nothing. I'm scared. I'm scared.
Well, consumers that not producing anything. Brother Mario, I'm going to schedule some time with you as well, man, because I've noticed some uptake in your content with the Are We Pele movement, your YouTube channel and things like that. Love to kind of catch up with you, do a feature. One of the things that I'm creating as well is going to be, and I don't know when I'm going to do this in the morning or evening. It's definitely going to be my new show that I'm working on. To be able to feature you guys. I really want to partner and work with all of us so we can kind of market each other's stuff and put it out there. So I love what you're doing with the with your retail business, but then also what you're doing to kind of highlight some of the spaces that you kind of do with your the Pele, Are We Pele movement, and kind of catch up with you with what's going on there. So as we getting ready to end this year, and what we do here is I really want to focus on as we talk about better life, and we help people to conceptualize what that means for them. Man, I'm really looking forward to some of the things that we'll do to help people get through this time.
I look around my circle, and I'm not talking about the big social media circle with everybody I know on social media. No, but when I look at my circle, I look at the folks I've been rocking with for 15, 20, 25 years, 30 years, and I can see all of our lives coming together and taking flight the way we've always wanted it. But I look back, we talk about the preparation piece. We were putting some of these things in place as teenagers. We were putting some of these things in place as new graduates and, in our sophomore year in college. And to see that this stuff is coming together, that's what scares me, because most people want it instant. If it's instant, it's probably no good. Oh, but to see everybody's life taking off, and not that everything is perfect, but you see where once the money got together, everything else became so much easier. That's why I keep telling people, hey, we got to get cash flow and credit together, because once that's together, life is better on another level. Last thing I'll say on that, one of my leadership business partners, I've known him for years. He's one of my mentors. I call him my rich dad. He said, it's amazing when you go to dinner with the caliber of people that everybody's trying to pay for the bill while we're still in line in our reservation. Like, what? They're arguing over who's going to pay the bill.
Yeah.
Silently. They're trying to find ways to pay the bill before the bill comes. I'm like, that's another level of living where we got to find a way to pay the whole bill, and nobody knew that we paid for it.
Yeah. Different face.
I still have memories of us in the restaurant, and I'm like, we were in a Red Lobster. We weren't even in something really expensive. No, man, I had that drink. No, that drink cost more than that drink because I didn't have that drink. No, I can't. What? And I just got so many vivid images of life broke, of life beat up, and I'm living the life where it's better now, man.
Let me ask you a question, man. One of the things that we were I was discussing was how, and I know that the last time we got together, you were saying how you're a hugger and you really love to be around people. During this time where, there's a lot of social distancing and remote and virtual, and I guess the loss of human contact, one of the things that came up was like, how do we balance that or replace that or get that into our life when we're in a time of life where we should be considerate of how much we do that.
Uh-huh.
Because I believe that there's been this shift to work from home, but then there's the work from home burnout. Now it's the cabin fever. Now it's the going insane, and the insane asylum is the house now versus the four walls of the corporate job. So when it comes to, I guess, balancing and then, kind of creating these spaces for you, because now it's kind of an individual thing where you may not, I don't know, you may not do the social gatherings as much. You may not go to church as much. You obviously the sporting events and stuff, not as much. What are some things that people can do to kind of offset or to balance out getting the human contact as a part of their mental diet, I guess?
Literally, because 50 years ago we would have never had this conversation, because we were still neighborhood based. The schools up north are neighborhood based. You can only have so many of a certain restaurant within a certain area because it's neighborhood based. So you can't have 28 chicken shacks on this one corner in Chicago. Okay, that's how that works. And so what I found myself doing was I would create these super small circles. So like my little brother came home. Great. So we've been kicking and screaming like little kids for over a week. I've got other partners who work in certain areas, and I know I can go have lunch with Doc. I know I can go have lunch with so-and-so. And that's how I've been able to keep my sanity. We can't have lunch as a big group, but I do have 2 or 3. My oldest school daughter just came down here. I got a chance to go see her. So you find a way to make it happen. It just doesn't look the way it used to. Queen Vivian said it best. You adapt and you adjust. It just is what it is. We can't live in a corner by ourselves in our minds, because that's a recipe to go crazy. But we just can't run back to what used to be and expect it today. I don't think Beyonce and Taylor Swift are going to pack out the Mercedes-Benz Arena again. I don't think that's going to happen. But that doesn't mean you still can't get together with 2, 3, 4, 5 of your folks who love that artist, and y'all can't do a listening party. Y'all can't, have some wings and some fries on your own listening to your favorite artist. So you just find a way to do it differently. It's somebody said that business has to learn to adjust. Well, same goes for life. There is no difference on the life side than the business side. And most people struggle in business because they've never done it in their life.
It seems like there's almost like a return or a retro aspect to this, where there's going to have to be the development of real friends, real friendships, and real real relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm thinking of these. Let's just say you're not in a real relationship. You don't really you've had somewhat counterfeit relationships, and now that you need real relationships to be able to kind of fall on, you realizing how fake some of the relationships that we developed over this time, or not having no substance, or are real shallow. So it's not like, boom, I really want to be around, hang around, spend time with you on a long basis. I'm just so used to the short contact that I had with you, the text message or the DM, that now I realize, oh man, where's my real tribe?
And the crazy part is, in our social media society, it has been so easy to forget what brought you together. When I look back at all of my close 15, 20 year circles, I know what brought us together. And so when that purpose is over, of course, the connection is over. So if we don't do business together, once we stop doing business, if we don't do anything else outside of business together, there's nothing. If I see you, I'm going to speak, but I'm not finding you on my phone. I'm not looking for you on social media, because the connection was that one thing. And I think 2020 is forcing us to separate, like you said, the real relationships, the one that we really put the time in, versus the ones that were of convenience. Somebody put this on social media some years ago, and I cried in a good way. They said, we weren't really friends. We just worked or went to school together 5 days a week. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
sometimes I think we do say, "Oh, that's my friend," like a little kid. That's my friend. That's my friend. And when you think about it, no, y'all just live next door to each other, so y'all had to talk.
Yeah. Look at Tony Carter say, man, he said, I've been working from home for years, and though I was prepared, but I still had to adjust to the lack of in-person interaction. And that's kind of, I guess that's kind of been the thing today, man. How has the lack of in-person interaction really affected you, if it has? Like, how is it really? And the reason why I'm bringing this up, guys, because I didn't realize, me personally, I didn't realize how much it affected me. Like, I didn't realize the spaces over this, let's say over this past 3-week period. You know, and let me tell you some things that in person or personal contact does for me, right? It actually helps it helps with my creativity.
Yes.
Right. You know, when I have interaction with people and their situations and their whatever, it actually helps me with creativity. So it helps me formulate even a show like this. Yes. When I don't have that interaction, it's like nothing has happened. You know, nothing's going on. There's nothing new. And so it brings a kind of a lull into my mental space where I'm not as creative as I would normally be. But I didn't realize that was a catalyst, or that was a spark to my creativity on so many different levels. You know, find out what people like, find out what people don't like, which actually helps me when it comes to what I'm gonna sell and what I'm not gonna sell, and it helps me to understand trends and where we are in the world, all that stuff. I truly did not, because for a while I don't like people as much, but that, quite honestly, but I didn't realize how much of an effect the lack of in-person or the lack of personal contact or lack of human interaction, I did not realize the effect it would have on me until it was having it on me. And then I began to have these discussions, which is why I'm having these discussions today.
And then you look up and be like, wait. So that was really because the problem is this. So wait, that was really because the problem is this. I have this theory of natural needs, because when these natural needs pop up, it's hard to be real logical. When you've been by yourself for 4, 5, 6, 7 months, it's hard to be real logical about, I'm not going to hang out with them. No, it's a chance to finally not be in your head by yourself. It's a chance to finally laugh. Not just by yourself, but it's a better laugh when it's with 2 or 3 other people laughing about the same thing. So that synergy is huge. And people forget that energy is currency. And anything that's currency is designed to move. If our economy is shuts down almost instantly if the money no longer moves. Well, the same goes for energy and ideas. For the wealthy, that's currency. Another conversation. I can't do that today.
Well, and it's a relevant conversation that we have. How the energy. I mean, it really. When I started to begin to think about this, brother, it said, I started to like do things I would not normally do with people who I may not normally do it with. Right? They're going to say, okay, let's go get some ice cream. Oh, that's cool. I'll stop by for a minute or whatever. Well, I would normally say, nah, I'm busy, or what I'm saying. I normally would turn down the offers. I say, man, let me get out the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me connect. You know what I'm saying? So it was, and it was refreshing. It was like, oh yeah, this was cool. It was all right. You know what I'm saying?
It's so bad for me. I have met like 6 of them, like maybe 3 or 4 different neighbors. And when I say neighbors, up north, a neighbor was somebody who lived on your street. Well, neighbor here in the South for me is like somebody who lives within 2 or 3 miles of me. And I've gotten like 2 or 3 neighbors that I would have never connected with, because again, in the traditional world, I was too busy. I was too busy focused on, and then watch this. I even have to go back and look at everything on my plate and say, why am I still doing this? Why am I still pushing for this? Why is this still important? And it's been refreshing because stuff is coming off my plate. No is becoming my first word again. And when no, I tell y'all no, I'm telling me yes. Oh, yeah. Look at Queen Vivian.
There.
Oh, Queen Vivian. I love it.
No, man, and as we, kind of get into this latter portion of the year, man, how do you anticipate holiday season and how we kind of would normally do. I mean, Halloween is the next big holiday, and I just saw some stuff from like CVS and Publix that they're going to obviously they want to caution people from going door to door. So they got these new bags that they're creating for people to just drop off at people's houses, and then if you get a gift, you go drop off something at somebody else's house, and that's going to be the new trick or treat. Like even trick or treating is is changing, to during this time. But this moves us into right after Halloween. You have Thanksgiving, right after Thanksgiving, you have Christmas, and holiday season, and
yes,
which is going to be different. This is going to be different this year. It's just literally going to be different, and I hope that people are ready for different, because it's going to be different.
But I think this different will be a better quality, because I'm seeing the birthdays on my time feed have more meaning. I'm seeing that anniversaries have more meaning now. I'm seeing that
that's a good point.
The college connections and all of these more traditional connections are having more substance. They're more appreciated now. So maybe Halloween might be in a neighborhood, 3 or 4 families getting together and doing Halloween together. We've all been home for 4, 5, 6, 7 months. So the risk of transmission is fairly low. And I can see that again, because that's what kids are doing with school now. The community is finally coming back to community, where, hey, well, y'all do the kids today. Give me a break. Tomorrow, y'all do the kids, give you a break. And now we're starting to see this community come back together again. I love it.
Wow, that's a good point, man. That again, it's kind of like a revert to communal behavior, village behavior, in a sense, with your tribe, with the tribe that's created in your space. That I mean, where every action there is a reaction. That's a beautiful thing. So it's still all good at the end of the day.
Different, but we still good.
Absolutely. Well, man, we're gonna keep it moving here, man. Better Life Tuesday. We're gonna be back. I think I'm gonna do a Welcome to Wall Street tomorrow. I haven't looked at the markets with you guys in a while, so I'll do that publicly. Try to get back on a real move here with content through this show, because I felt like some people like, man, where I saw that there was a void. When you kind of disappear for a while, you look and see what's out there. Like, man, nobody's really doing that. Let me bring it back. Make sure we fill that void with some of the content that we do. Brother Weatherby, man, you got any last words with people here today on Better Life Tuesday, man? It's been a wonderful discussion. We're talking about, man, what has happened, what is happening as we look to complete our 2020, get ready for 2021.
Man, take advantage of today. Take advantage of the now. Get some of the stuff off of your list for 5 years from now. What can you do today towards that? What can you do today that will just put a little piece on it? Remember, the pyramids were not built in a day. The pyramids were not built in a week. The pyramids were built over hundreds of years. So take something that you want to get done, and instead of it being way out there, what can you do about it today? That's all I got to say.
And I would say, man, just the attitude of gratitude, man. Having an appreciation for the day, appreciation for whatever you experience, today. Whoever kind of pops into your life, whoever may give you that call, or you may call or text, man. Having an appreciation for the day and for the people and for life, really goes a long way. Tomorrow isn't promised. And so, as he's saying, take full advantage of the day. I'm saying, hey, appreciate the day and all that it brings. Man, this is the Money and Power Show, New Black Wall Street. Man, I want to say thanks so much to Brother Weatherby for joining us for the second half, coming on strong. We'll be doing this more often, guys, for Better Life Tuesday, talking about a better life. We'll have some different episodes that we'll begin to bring to this format, to this broadcast, to continue to bring value to the community, society, and at large. I'm your host, RGJ, guys, and I want you guys to remember this, that it takes a village. It starts with us. Yes. Let's build as we climb together. We all we got, beautiful people. Matter of fact, we all we need.
Yes, sir.
Thank God, that's more than enough. Until next episode, you know what time it is. Mr. DJ, hit the music.
The new Black Wall Street. Thanks you for joining the show. We gave a lot of great tips, but it's time to go. Take the knowledge we shared, hope you use it and grow. We will see you all there at the next episode of The New Black Wall Street. The New Black Wall Street.